The Pro Wrestling Vault. 35 short stories including Harley Race, Ricky Morton, Tracy Smothers, and Tim Storm. Along with 300 photos from the independent scene, taken from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Get your book today by going to WrestleVille.com or LanceByChance.com. WrestleVille, it's where wrestling lives.
Welcome, everybody, to the PWC podcast. I am Rick Del Santo, and joining me, as always, this week, Showtime, Marcel Williams. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, my man. Just living the life. And, keeping on the update of all the wrestling news, which is almost every day. Every weekend is always something. But before we start with the wrestling, I want to give because we've been like off and on, like doing extra things. But I want to give some prayers down in Ukraine. It's a big thing going on down there, which is not a good thing. Which is they have a big war down there that's affecting everyone, including us. So, I just want to give my prayers and everybody, all the citizens of Ukraine.
Hopefully things will get back to normal there for them soon. Mm-hmm. It's just a big mess. It's a travesty, honestly. So
yeah,
it really is. So one thing we didn't get to talk about because we've been off and on for the last 3 months. Just busy guys. We did lose a legend in the business last week. Somebody that I wish we could have gone, did this when it happened, but. Scott Hall, big Scott Hall, passed away. He suffered 3 heart attacks after a hip surgery. Scott Hall definitely left his mark in the wrestling business. I went through and watched a bunch of his footage over his entire career from the AWA, WCW, WWF, and actually found a couple matches where he worked in Memphis, which I was unaware about, which I thought was very interesting. And the man is definitely a very influential figure in the entire professional wrestling industry. Left a huge impact on the way it's shaped in the last 30 years, I believe. So I'd just like to say rest in peace. Would you like to share anything?
Yeah, man. Scott Hall, we lost him. I'm not even going to sugarcoat. We already know the life that he lived. It already been documented on the ESPN E60 series. But we not even going to talk about it. We're going to talk about his legacy. We'll celebrate his legacy. From AWA, like you said, from even the Diamond Stud in the early WCW days. And then he segued into the WWE in early 92 with Razor Ramon. Started out in the main event scene with Ric Flair against Macho Man at Survivor Series. That was his big push, and even 1993 Rumble with Bret the Hitman Hart. And then he really got launched with the Intercontinental Championship win over Rick Martel. We already know what the story with the ladder match. We are over 20 years. It's a long time. 20 years since that WrestleMania 10 ladder match with Shawn Michaels. But besides that, even though that was a historic match, we got the 1995 SummerSlam ladder match, which was real good as well. So, even towards that, he segued into the NWO, where he made his debut in WCW on a Nitro in early spring of 96. He really transcend what the business was going forward with the Attitude Era and what WCW was doing. So, it's just unfortunate the circumstances that happened with him, and I give my prayers to the family and condolences. But Scott Hall was a big loss to the business at this point in his early 60s.
I think he's one of the most popular wrestlers to never actually hold that world title.
Absolutely.
And he
Absolutely.
probably one of the best wrestlers at that to never hold the world title. I think, if anything, that, and like you said, we're not going to talk too much about his demons, but the demons definitely held him back from them giving him that chance to giving him that title. But he had so many legendary matches, like you said, with Shawn Michaels. Obviously, he helped launch the career of Sean Waltman, the Lightning Kid, 1-2-3 Kid, into the mainstream or into the big time, I guess you can call it, with that match on Monday Night Raw back in the day. And then obviously, like you said, him, I think, basically helping shape the way wrestlers get paid in wrestling, how they're and such. When he entered WCW and the reality style gimmicks and the whole shaping the attitude era thing. So he was a very influential being in the landscape of professional wrestling, and especially for the modern era.
Yeah, he absolutely was. Like you said, he put over a lot of people to make them show a lot of their talents, and Sean Waltman was one of them. I remember watching that episode when I was younger. I was shocked by that, upset by the 1-2-3 Kid, even though he won that little rematch for the bounty. He won over $100,000 to get 1-2-3 Kid back in the ring a few weeks later. Then it transcended into him, Ted DiBiase, him getting his face turned, and then all the history was there. He had the big Intercontinental title run that we just talked about, even having his little run against Diesel / Kevin Nash, that little rivalry they had in '94, even with Walter Payton at SummerSlam '94 at the United Center, one of the big events at the United Center. But Scott Hall really had great moments. Even we segue into TNA, early TNA. His TNA run wasn't that good, but it was still Scott Hall doing his job. And then we segue to the big NWO return in 2002. Was it a good run for Scott Hall? Maybe not. As I get older, it looked like it wasn't a good run. But when you're younger, you was like, oh, well, this is NWO and WWE. Oh, this is a cool deal. But now you're getting older. Maybe it wasn't a good run. But, he recovered from all his demons. DDP helped him out with DDP Yoga. We've seen him in the Hall of Fame with his famous words, where bad luck don't last, but bad guys do. It's just an unfortunate situation, and rest in peace to the bad guy.
All right, and of course, if you watched Monday Night Raw last week, there was many tributes laid throughout the entire show, right from Kevin Owens' opening promo with the "Hey Yo," and they just did a little bit. I guess you could call them Easter eggs, and they did a very nice video package in the middle of the show as well.
Yes,
great tribute throughout the whole thing.
Yes, they did. I mean, like they had it set up already from the circumstances that was going on, but it's really a great tribute that they have for him, and he was one of those guys, man, one of those guys that touched everybody's hearts, So, yeah, man, it's just an unfortunate situation.
And speaking of Monday Night Raw, we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw from last night. Kevin Owens opened up the show, and I got to tell you, this is probably one of the most interesting openings. I actually stayed and watched the entire 3 hours. Believe it or not, people, I know I talk a lot of not nice things about Monday Night Raw on this program. I still stayed up through it. I don't know what made me do that. I'm off Monday nights now, so it's just, I did it. I was in the mood to watch something. And Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hits. The entire arena erupts and goes entirely crazy. The roof came off the building. And then we see Stone Cold coming down the aisle. And once that camera gets up close, you realize it's Kevin Owens. Stone Cold's gear, and he's got a wig or a head cover to make him look a bald cap. Excuse me, that's what I'm trying to think. And it was the greatest. I think it's probably one of the greatest moments in modern WWE history. If you don't mind me saying, and he comes out, cuts an incredible promo. Not only does he trick the fans the first time, Austin's music hits again, and you think that he's coming out, and then he turns around, basically laughs at the crowd, and then moves forward with that. He's looking forward. I'm looking forward to the Austin, the KO show with Austin. And I'm guessing something else is going to happen than not just an interview segment.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big event for WrestleMania. They keep on teasing the 19 years, even though, Austin have made cameos since then, between 19 years. Yep. But the promo was real good. It like you said, it was one of the best in the modern era. And plus, it was a big shout out to, Shawn Michaels promo teasing the Bret Hart back in 2005. If you remember when he did a promo on Hogan, and then he teased like Bret Hart going to make that cameo and make the return, and that was a little shout out with Kevin Owens sitting here doing the second go around with the Austin theme music, but him not catching the beers and him, Stone Cold stunning the person that threw the beers wrong, even with him sitting there saying what to the crowd to annoy them, that was great. Kevin Owens is on top of his game right now.
He really is. I mean, there's really nothing that guy could do that's really wrong. I think he's one of the best that they have in the last. How long has he been there now? About 8 years, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
And I think that he's been put in some pretty good promo or put in some pretty good work. Programs. Excuse me. And this he just continues to flourish, to be just really good. So we got that coming up to WrestleMania, and of course, I do have a complaint coming up though. You're gonna
go ahead. I'm ready.
The Mysterios came out. They wrestled against Dolph and Bobby Roode. And so Logan Paul came out at some point, right? Is that correct? And then they did an attack on the Miz. I'm sorry, the Miz and on Mysterio, and they ended up taking Ray's mask. Of course, Dominic is protecting Ray with a towel, etc., etc., etc. My complaint here is it's not like no one knows what Ray looks like without the damn mask. He spent a good 6 years with no mask in WCW, unless WWE fans never watched WCW. Correct? Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Don't take a swig of this beer.
Oh, God.
I respect your rank.
Okay.
But he was only unmasked for 2.5 years, which is correct. 2.5 years. He got, God bless Scott Hall, he got beat by the Outsiders, teaming up with Conan with this stipulation on the line for Elizabeth Hare. Elizabeth Hare over his mask. Nobody remembers that, huh? So, Super Brawl, 1999. So, let me see here. Nobody remembers WCW at this point. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. That time period, no one remembers. Some people may remember Chris Jericho and him a few years ago, back in 2009, with him versus the Mask, where he'd been unmasked before, but never seen his face. But you're right. But to these fans today, just like the Stone Cold Steve Austin theme music that popped on, some of these people don't remember. So, we got to re-educate these fans that Rey Mysterio has shown his face before.
He has. And, but the other thing about that is, and if I know I'm kind of reaching out there for this, okay? Once a luchador loses his mask, he's not supposed to put it back on. It's tradition.
You're right.
And it's supposed to be, I guess it's kind of viewed as a sin in a way in the Lucha Libre culture. However, when Mysterio came into WWE, he put his mask back on.
You're correct, sir. But WWE want to make some marketing, so sometimes you gotta renege. So this matters.
Having a run-in, of
I'm
course.
sorry, Rick.
No, you're right. No, you're right. They have to. It's merchandising. They're going to be making money for merchandising, making the mask. Obviously, there's going to be a million kids out there that want a Rey Mysterio mask with that design, etc. And not for nothing, he has had some pretty damn cool outfits, masks.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Whether it be the color or what have you. I know for one, there was a while where he was doing like Marvel characters. So I know he do the Green Lantern at one point, and then Captain America at one point.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's done some cool, but at the same time, not supposed to.
No. I mean, so when the mask came off, I reacted just like you did. I was like, well, we already seen this. We already seen this face before. So I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do. So
they're acting as if nobody's ever seen him without the mask. That's the other. It's like the announcers. Like, I mean, that's just me. That's just me. So what do you think of this new Seth character?
Seth Rollins?
Yeah. He's. I find it hard to believe that he's one of the top stars in WWE currently, and they can't find a place for him. I know it's obvious it's only a storyline, but how they're having trouble to find a spot for him at WrestleMania.
Nah, it is only a storyline, but we already know who supposedly the spot's supposed to be for. But I don't know. I just truthfully, if you want to be real about it, it's basically the biggest storyline on Raw. You already know Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns are on SmackDown. We got Ronda Rousey and Charlotte on SmackDown. So this is truthfully, besides the Austin situation, this is legit the biggest storyline going on. So, and I forgot Edge versus AJ Styles. But besides that, it's just we'll get to that soon. But the thing is, it's just like man, Seth Rollins, this better be a big program. They better have something for WrestleMania. And truthfully, he laid the groundwork for later on when he talked about what's going to happen for next week's Raw. So we'll start segueing into that, how that went down.
I know it's been a while since we've spoken of Cody, but rumor is that he has signed. It is official. PW Insider Mike Johnson reported. So the other thing is that people are saying, or it's stated that he could be going into a program with Seth Rollins. And there's also talk of him not debuting until the night after the Raw after that Monday, unless he is actually kind of similar how they did it with the Hardys, how they ended up saying how they nobody knew it was going to happen until the music hit in the match. You know what I mean? And then the crowd went nuts. So, I mean, there's also that scenario. So, what would you? How would you think that would happen? I mean, I would go for either one, really, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, there's many scenarios. There's a lot of podcasts I listen to that gives a lot of scenarios. But the thing is, you got obviously we got the Austin program with Kevin Owens, so basically Seth Rollins could interrupt that. Mm-hmm. But ever since he said what he said last night, truthfully, I think they're gonna pull the trigger next Monday. If they don't pull the trigger next Monday, truthfully, I would figure they would pull the trigger next Monday because it's a go home episode. You need something to promote to push these tickets. They already sold 60,000 each night. They trying to push at least 70,000 each night. Mm-hmm. So, hopefully it makes sense that they promote it the way they are. I mean, they already pushed this so crazy because you had Seth Rollins sit here and wrestle Kevin Owens last week for the chance to do a TV show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then last night you want to sit here and put him against AJ Styles face Edge, who he already faced last year in the Hell in a Cell at SummerSlam.
Right.
Like countless of matches with these two. So basically, like these, I mean, truthfully, it was building main events for each Raw. That's what they was on. But it's just to the point now. It's just so stupid that like there's been many times that Seth Rollins could have had a match at WrestleMania. Look at Omos.
Right.
Omos looking for an opponent. You could have had Seth Rollins, but I know that's not the right storyline. But logically speaking, if you wanted a match so bad, you could have sat here and said, well, Kevin Owens, let's have a match at WrestleMania. Whoever wins will have the show against Austin. So
Right.
the story there is just so crazy. Like, it just don't make no sense. It's just burning time. That's all it's doing, burning time.
Rumor is that now you're speaking of Omos, that he's going to be going against Bobby Lashley. I read that earlier today.
Yeah, I heard that today as well. Like, Bobby Lashley should be cleared, hopefully. But it's the last minute thing.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a thing that like Bobby Lashley is doing as kind of like a favor in a way to help elevate Omos, because he's on this singles run now. I mean, obviously we know he's kind of a little bit, I guess green would be the word. He's not terrible, but for a guy his size, but I think that would definitely help elevate Omos greatly to be to go up against Bobby Lashley as well.
Absolutely.
Top of that, speaking of Omos, he in a handicap match took on Commander Aziz and Apollo Crews. Obviously defeated Aziz last week. Seemed like it was quite easy actually.
It's crazy how Apollo Crews came from last year of having this new gimmick, winning the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, to
now he's jobbing. He's at the Brooklyn Brawler status. So
crazy.
It is, and the worst part is like the guy's very talented. On top of it,
he's so talented, and he had a good I was about to curse. He had a good gimmick.
You're allowed to curse.
So he has some type of personality. Yeah, but I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube or something.
No, man, he had that really great program with Big E last year. I thought it was great, and I don't know what happened, but obviously that's the world of WWE. They lose interest in they lose interest in somebody so quick that they could be up here, and then all of a sudden, guess what? You're jobbing on every show going forward. Maybe you'll get a win on a house show. That's about the extent.
There's always a rotation. Then you kill his partner, Aziz. Like, you murdered his whole gimmick as well. So basically, two of them don't even matter no more after that easy squash.
Right.
It don't even matter. Can we talk about this Zelina Vega and Carmella little beef that they had for like 5 seconds, and then they put a swerve over her eyes?
But that's been going on for a couple of weeks now, hasn't it? No? Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. So, yeah. Maybe I misunderstood it. All right, so go ahead. I know I saw them bickering backstage last night.
Yeah, it was some bickering backstage. Carmella threw the phone across the room. They started fighting. So we have a tag match, which I never knew. If somebody could correct me on any comment when this video posts, I never knew that Shayna Baszler and Natalya was added to this tag team, women's tag team championship match. They haven't been a team the whole time. I just wonder how this even happened. Well, anyway, the match happened between Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler and Natalya. And I guess it was all a ruse at the end because they tried to one-up us with this mini feud that they had between Zelina and Carmella. Now, I need a drink again. So, I just want to know, why was we shown this little feud that only lasted 5 seconds? I see you had this drawn out for the last 4 or 5 months. And or even 4 or 5 weeks. I take it back 4 or 5 months, 4 or 5 weeks, and then all of a sudden you do this. I just feel like you just filled up time for these 3 hours, and I suffered through this for the last 3 weeks now.
Do you know that they have to fill up 3 hours worth of content every week?
I understand that, but
So they need to come up with something, and they don't. Sometimes they don't know what the hell they're doing. They just have to come up with something because they can't come up with anything better.
after watching Nitro before AEW even launched, these 3-hour Nitros were the same way.
Yes,
It was the same way. I don't understand why they can't just like look at Nitro and be like, okay, Nitro did this.
give
Video
us an extra
packages.
match. Yeah, give us an extra match. Give us a quality, good 20-minute match instead, or something to that effect. Anything like that. I mean, book 2 good wrestlers against each other. I got an idea. Stop firing people and put those people in that position. People that want to see, people that have gone to other companies and become big stars. You know, those people that you could have kept.
You have all these wrestlers sitting in the ring for like 10 minutes while the video packages be coming on.
If that.
It's crazy. It was. I think it was like last week. Yeah, Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins made his entrance. I don't know if it was him or Kevin Owens. They made an entrance. They sat in the ring for like 10 minutes over all these video packages, and I was like, why they didn't just play these video packages first, and then have the entrance, and then have the match, and then go to commercial? Like, what kind of rotation is that? Where I'm sitting here watching all these video packages, why this dude just stand in the ring, like he's having lunch in the ring, like he's just chilling. The only smart person I seen was Becky Lynch last night. They had her come out. They went through all these video packages, commercials, and she grabbed a chair sitting in the ring. I don't blame her. I would grab a chair too, sat in the ring. But you got to pay all these video packages while I'm standing here.
Did you know that the first hour is basically that opening promo that's about 20 minutes? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then one match. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. There's never any. I mean, obviously, you can say, "Oh, we're going to commercial." There's like a backstage 1-minute interview or something like that, but nothing has changed. And ever since they've just since they added that third hour, they've just drawn out the segments. Same exact segments.
I understand.
Not getting anything more.
We have sat here and continuously talk about the same pattern. But I just don't understand why you just play these video packages during this whole time. Bianca Belair just standing in the ring, just chilling, getting warmed up. I will be all cold by the time the match starts. I'm sitting here waiting for the damn match to start, and you sitting here playing packages. And then the match is 3 minutes after you play the package.
It's a waste of our time. Yes.
It's a waste of our time. It's just, I don't know, dude. I mean, can we fast forward to Seth Rollins' issue?
We still got a couple. What do we got? Which issue are you referring to?
Huh?
Wait, what did you say? Fast forward to Seth Rollins' issue?
Yeah, Seth Rollins challenging AJ Styles for Edge.
Oh, yeah, that was the main event. AJ Styles defeated Seth by disqualification.
It was a good match. Turbo ended.
Of course. No, I mean, if you look at it, like I said, and I know I brought this up before, how many, and it was something that I heard from Wade Keller of PW Torch, however many months ago, and I know I brought it up on this show, that in the main events for WWE, they've had something like 200 and something non-finishes in their main events. So that's every single week they have non-finishes. That's actually not even every single week. It's like twice a week, 3 times a week, because they have 3 damn TV shows, at least 2 2-hour shows and 1 3-hour show a week, which means the majority are non-finishes.
I wanted to beat Nitro. Nitro used to have non-finishes like almost every Monday.
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy. I believe that.
It's insanity. So they had to do, obviously, but nothing has changed ever since that report came out either, since they said something like that. I mean, not that they probably don't listen. They probably don't listen to that.
They had clean finish last week.
Yeah. I don't remember that. Did I watch it last week? I don't remember last week.
It was him versus Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Still though, like it racks up.
Yes.
It got ridiculous after a while. It was like almost every week.
Yes. It's ridiculous. I don't think anything else really important happened this week. I mean, Finn Balor and Austin Theory I don't remember it lasting that long.
Yeah, Finn Balor won with Pat McAfee with the assist.
That's right, Pat McAfee. That's right. Now I remember that guy hasn't gotten any less annoying, but you know.
I like Pat McAfee.
Well,
Makes it exciting.
I know. I'm pretty sure we talked about his interview with McMahon. Did we talk about that? His interview with, and do you see how he's just kind of bouncing around the room the whole time, or bouncing around his little booth, like he's standing up, he's doing this.
Yeah, he loves
to
stand.
like, yeah, and it's just like, what the hell are you doing, dude? And it looks as if Vince is kind of annoyed throughout the whole thing. I don't know if that's just him in character, but he just looks like, what the hell is this guy doing the whole time?
Well, he deals with him every week on Smackdown. He should be used to it.
Yeah, right.
But you know, Pat McAfee, you gotta respect it. This guy making multi-million dollars off of forgot what the podcast network is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. He make more than us.
Yeah.
Trying to make it.
I don't really care about talking about the rest of Raw. Let's get into Mania.
Wait, before we get to Mania, we forgot
Sure.
to let's talk about the Thunder Rosa cage match with Britt Baker. We missed
Okay.
that.
We were not here last week, so yeah. Well, then we're going to talk WrestleMania coming up.
Talk about WrestleMania.
We'll see what happens. But last week, you know, obviously, and I'm happy to announce that we'll be talking more AEW Dynamite because my schedule has changed, so I'll be home in time to watch it, and you know, we'll definitely be talking more of Dynamite as an extent. So I ended up getting home last week right before the main event, which was Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker in a steel cage for the AEW Women's title. All I gotta say is that they've had a tremendous feud in the last year. The match that they had last year, which is the first match against each other, headlined AEW Dynamite, was probably my favorite match of the year. It was just tremendous. And their second one was really good, but it was not as up to par as. But this third one in a steel cage, I'd have to say it topped it. It was just freaking phenomenal. It was a really, really good match. Some of the spots I was a little bit I cringed at. You know, I literally thought that like they were really going to get hurt. That the tower of steel chairs, kind of. Yeah, that did not look like it was going to end well, which it, you know, I don't think it really did, but it didn't. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It was no pillows, I'll tell you that.
Yes, right. But Thunder Rosa is the new AEW Women's Champion, and it's well deserved. She is a phenomenal athlete and a tremendous talent. She really is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, she's like I say, journeyman in the business. She's a journey woman. She's been around. She's former NWA women's champion, and like I said, Rick said, last year was a match of the year, one of the match of the year candidates. It was an unsanctioned match, but like Britt Baker said, that win did not count. Obviously, she was the winner. You know, not by pinfall or whatever it is, but she was the winner going forward. She won the AEW Women's Championship and kept holding on to it keep pushing with the DMD gimmick and looking good out there. And we all knew what the road was going to lead to, the rematch between these two. Revolution was all right. It wasn't too good with me with the interference, but we already knew what that was segue into. That was segue into the cage match, which was last week. And, you know, it was a good match. It was a good cage match for the ladies, and they continue to break boundaries. I mean, we had boundaries broken before, but continue to keep the boundary going with the ladies.
It was a pretty violent match, and they were both stuck pretty good. Lots of blood all over the place.
Absolutely.
And it was just I was in awe because like I just thought it was just a phenomenal match. It was really good. Congratulations
Nah,
to both ladies, not just Thunder Rosa for winning the title, but congratulations for both ladies for just putting on such a tremendous match.
absolutely. The crowd was hot. San Antonio.
Absolutely. San Antonio. And it was her, wasn't it? That's where Thunder Rosa's from, right?
That's her
I know she's from
hometown.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a great crowd, hot crowd, great cage match. Dynamite continue every morning every Wednesday morning to break with the wrestling scene.
That's right.
Take a little ultra, kick it on in. You wouldn't think this take you out. You know, if we need
Taking you out.
sponsors. We
do need sponsors. Get in touch. We'll get some sponsors in here. All right, so obviously, what are we? 2 weeks away from WrestleMania now?
Yes, we are. WrestleMania season,
and it's just about over. We're just about there. It's the biggest time
Before
of the
we
year.
talk about that, though, sorry to interrupt you. What is your favorite?
My favorite
WrestleMania moment and match. I'm a big WrestleMania fan. Big one.
You're a big WrestleMania fan?
Big WrestleMania fan. I watch every WrestleMania possible.
That's awesome. I believe I've watched all of them, even though I might not have been watching professional wrestling at a certain time in my life. I always made it a point to watch the big shows. My favorite match, I know it might seem a little bit awkward in a way. WrestleMania 10, Bret versus Owens. There's just something about that match, and it's a technical masterpiece. Might seem a little bit cliche, I guess, to say that, but I just remember watching that, and that's where I just discovered how, it's not like I didn't know Owen was a great wrestler, but it's just seeing those two in the ring with each other, and it's just that's where Owen got to the next level in WWE after that match.
No, absolutely.
He could even go forward and be a main eventer at that time period.
Yeah, that was a breakout moment for Owen Hart. I really enjoyed that match when I was young. I knew that match was going to be it for both competitors. I know Bret already made his name for himself early on in the year, but yeah, that match was a great mind you, it was an opener. It was an opener for WrestleMania 10. So
Bret
for it to be
twice that night.
Wrestled twice, yeah. He won himself twice, and the second match was a rematch from WrestleMania 9 between Bret and Yokozuna.
Right.
This time, Bret got the upper hand. We fast forward from the opener from Owen and then Bret Hart to at the time Daniel Bryan versus Triple H. I thought that match was great.
It's a very good match. I think Triple H gets a lot of flack because he went through a reign of terror, I guess, what they call it in the earlier 2000s, where he was basically burying everybody. But I think that he was honestly a tremendous worker. He really was.
Nah, absolutely. Absolutely. Back up to WrestleMania 3? Ricky Steamboat versus Matcha Man? At the Pontiac Silverdome?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
One of the greatest matches in the history of WrestleMania, or in the history of wrestling, really.
Yeah, man. Just a lot of moments. They don't talk about numbers no more. So, I remember the numbers, WrestleMania 8 with, Macho Man versus Ric Flair, Piper versus Bret. A lot of history making things. Ultimate Warrior, Hogan, champion versus champion. WrestleMania 6.
That match might got a lot of BS because it's not a great match per se.
Yeah.
But the crowd is hot, and that's what ends up making that match such a great moment, I guess you could say.
Absolutely.
Because you can watch that and you'll still get excited just by the sheer intensity of it. And you could say the same thing for Hogan and Andre. They might not have been the greatest workers in the world, but they put on a great match and the crowd was electric.
They brought 98,000 people there to the Pontiac Silverdome.
Yep.
We got WrestleMania 13, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart submission match.
That's a great match. Yep. And we can't. What am I thinking? It was a WrestleMania 12. Bret and Michaels in an Iron Man match was just they
Over
go
60
a
minutes.
full hour with no pins, and then they go in overtime. Sudden death, rather, excuse me, which is they go, like you said, over 60 minutes, and it's a phenomenal match. I just watched that match recently. I don't know what made me put it on, but I did, and I thought it's such a great match. I'm not even the world's biggest Michaels fan.
Fun fact, I watch that match every year. I don't know why. It's a habit. Just watch that match every year.
Gets you in the mood. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got WrestleMania 17. People say that's the best WrestleMania ever.
The Rock and Hogan?
Nah, that's WrestleMania 18.
That's
WrestleMania 17 was at the Astrodome. Rock versus Austin 2.
Okay. One match I'm gonna I particularly love WrestleMania 20. It's actually two matches on this show. WrestleMania 20 with Benoit, Michaels, and Triple H.
Yeah, that match to the rest of the world never happened, but that was a real good match.
It's to the WWE universe. It's never happened.
Yes.
That's not the wrestling world.
Nah, you're right. But that was a good main event. I enjoyed it. Actually, the best match on that card for WrestleMania 20. Let me see. I like WrestleMania 5 with Hogan and Savage. That was a big deal.
That's a good match. Yep. I love that match.
WrestleMania 7, Warrior versus Savage career match.
Yep.
That was a great match. So WrestleMania, we here. There's one that they won't talk about. That's the Performance Center one. But it's still a WrestleMania to me.
Empty arena WrestleMania. Very
the first ever empty arena WrestleMania.
Very anticlimactic, the whole entire show.
Yo, when I seen that show, I was like, this is one of those WrestleManias that will never get talked about. This is like the WrestleMania 11, the WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, here we are talking
WrestleMania
about it.
4. Yeah, here we are talking about it. Yeah.
No, man. I mean, WrestleMania 11. The funny thing is, I was at that, and it's like people will talk about that, but only because it's voted the worst WrestleMania in the history of WrestleMania. However, I think the Performance Center one probably takes that job now.
Only reason I won't say it's the worst is because they really worked hard to make that WrestleMania special, even though they was limited to the pandemic. So I won't call it the worst. I'll just say it's the redheaded stepchild of all WrestleManias.
Okay.
A lot of people sit here and ish on WrestleMania 9. I kind of thought WrestleMania 9 was cool with the logistics of it all.
The Steiners and the Head Shrinkers, right?
Yeah. Shawn Michaels, Tonka.
Yep. Some good. Who did Perfect wrestle? Perfect wrestled somebody on there.
Wrestle Lex Luger.
Yeah.
The Narcissus.
Oh yeah, the Narcissist version. That's funny stuff, man. It's an underrated one, and it was very gimmicky though. So that's another reason why people crap on it.
Yeah, I know. Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. Yeah,
That's bad stuff, man.
Oh, you know what? WrestleMania wasn't good, and people don't say it a lot. WrestleMania 2.
I think it's underrated. Am I wrong?
The only good match was a tag match with the Dream Team versus the British Bulldogs. That's the only good match throughout the whole thing.
The NFL Battle Royal. You got Refrigerator Perry.
Nah. WWE Hall of Famer, by the way.
Yes, but it feels like it feels like a B show. You know what I mean? If you watch it, it's the three locations, and it's just like you said, the redheaded stepchild or the B show or something like that. It's not very good. It's like
that's the only thing that's special about WrestleMania 2, though. It was at three locations. That was the main event.
Bunny in the cage is not really insanely good or anything. It's just kind of blah. And was it Piper and Mr. T in a boxing match?
Yeah, the boxing match.
Like you said, there's nothing really special about it.
I'm sorry about our retro WrestleMania moments, but big WrestleMania fan here. 1 through whatever number now because they don't say no numbers no more.
I was gonna be,
And I
is
done
this
ran out
38?
of all these numbers. Huh?
I think is this 38 or 37?
I think
38?
it's 38. It's either 30. It has to be 38. It
Yeah.
has to be. Is it? Wait.
I mean, I guess I could kind of look it up,
Hold
right?
up. Real quick.
See,
I
got my
think it is 38. I'm getting old if it's 38.
Oh shit! It is WrestleMania 38, according to
Yeah, I'm getting
April
old.
2nd and 3rd, 2022.
All right, folks. That finally caps the show of me saying that I'm getting old. WrestleMania 38.
Just forget, I still got like 10 years on you, so
Yeah, but you
my
know
memory
what?
slips sometimes too.
When you're born on the first year of WrestleMania and you watch year after year WrestleMania grow, but then you're growing at the same time, it's not good for business.
It's a good way to look at it. So I'm gonna break it down to night 1 and night 2. What do you think of the? Is this supposed to be the last year? Supposedly the last year of them doing it two nights in a row. I heard that they weren't gonna continue with
Well,
it,
to
but
me, I hope.
I don't mind
Me,
it being 2 nights. I
I
like it
can't
being 2
stand 2
nights.
nights. You know why I can't stand 2 nights? And I said
You get
it
to see
early
more of
on in
Logan
one of the
Paul.
episodes. Damn Logan Paul. Nah, it's just like it's too much, man. I mean, there's no need for 2 nights. Is first of all, you don't need to put everybody on the card. All right. I mean,
I think
if I
we've
go
discussed
back,
this before. Yes, that you don't. It's supposed to be the biggest show of the year, which means you should need to have the biggest stars of the entire company. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, is there going to be some preliminary matches? Sure, but you don't need it like that. Like you said, you don't need it every single. You don't need a match for every single talent in there.
you know, since you said that, I'm just gonna shut up. Let me tell you why. So between WrestleMania 1
Mhm.
and WrestleMania maybe 7, they had every person on the card.
Really,
They did.
every
They had
awesome.
every person on the card has been on every WrestleMania. You think about it, they had God bless his soul, Blue Blazer versus Mr. Perfect at WrestleMania 5.
Another good match, very underrated.
It was a good match, but they only
Was.
had like what 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Warlord versus British Bulldog WrestleMania 7.
that's a brutal match to sit through, dude.
Yeah, man.
I saw them
mean,
live. I saw them live work that same exact match in New Haven, Connecticut.
see, there
And
we
then
go. It did not need to be on WrestleMania.
no, and then I saw them. I watched a MSG house show on when they used to run the MSG house shows on the MSG network. They worked the same exact match.
Same
there, too.
exact match. Tito
I thought it was
Santana
good.
versus Barbarian WrestleMania 6.
Brutal, brutal.
Come on,
Yep.
it's been going on for years. Been going on
Yes.
for years. So you know what? I give up. I tap out. You know what? Put anybody on the card. F
Nah, I just like I said, I just think they need to put big. I mean, there was, yeah, they put a lot of guys on the show, but yeah, like you said, they didn't. They just need to chill out. But now it's like now the roster's like probably 4 times the size as it was in 1985 or 1988 or whatever. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now they have 9-hour shows, or they have 2 nights broken into 4 hours each
I mean,
instead of
the
nine
only
hours.
plus about the 2 nights, which we'll get into the card in a few seconds, is certain matches do get a certain amount of times instead of getting 10 minutes. So
Right.
that's the only plus I do give about the 2 nights is because, like last year, I think it was Apollo Crews versus Big E, and they had enough time than they would have got if it was a 1 night show. So I'm just glad that they give time to certain matches to give them more time instead of the short amount of time that they would give them for one show.
Right.
But night 1, Also on night one, Rick.
So that brings us to night one of WrestleMania 38. Right now, so far, there's only 5 matches listed for night one. Seems like there's a little bit more listed for night 2. But
so you know what that means? Night one should be at least 2 hours and a half. But you know what?
I'm going by these matches.
They're going to add 3 more matches.
I'm going by these matches. It's at least, I mean, I would say just only put it on there for an hour. But a match that I'm looking forward to, and I'm hoping that there's a title change. Becky Lynch will be defending her title against Bianca Belair. Obviously, we know that Bianca got screwed at was it SummerSlam? And I just felt that it was, inappropriate the way they took the title off of Bianca. So I'm hoping that this is. I think it would be right for them to put the title back on Bianca here at the biggest show of the year.
Absolutely, it's a story of redemption for Bianca Belair. The story's there. She lost in 10 seconds, 15 seconds,
yeah, something like that.
And the story's there. She had a rematch a few months later, where she came up short, but she earned her title shot at Elimination Chamber. So now we're full circle with Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch again, and Bianca Belair going to win the championship probably once again on WrestleMania weekend, just like last year.
Let's hope. Also, the Mysterios taking on The Miz and Logan Paul in a tag team match. I'm just gonna go with the Mysterios are probably gonna take this. If The Miz and Logan Paul win, I'd be very surprised. They're kind of leaning towards.
You're not a Logan Paul fan?
I hate that guy's annoying as all hell.
Can't sleep on Logan Paul. Well, you know what? Let's talk about your favorite match, Bryan night one. For real. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin.
I love Drew. I do. I think Drew is great. I think Drew is a phenomenal worker.
It's unfortunate for Drew.
It is that he's been, since being out of the title picture, he's been dealing with a lot of crap. He's been thrown into a lot of crap, it seems. I don't know if it's their way of saying, hey, you got to last through this kind of a thing, but he's been thrown into some shitty storylines since not being in the title picture. They haven't even really tested Drew as the champion with fans in attendance. It's unfortunate for Drew. He was the champion during the pandemic, like the height of the pandemic era, when there was absolutely no fans in attendance. So it wasn't really fair to him, I don't think.
No, you're right. It's unfortunate. He is like one of the champions to have the championship without no fans in the building. On another point is, I think it's just them burning time for him to challenge whoever wins. We segue later to the night 2 main event. So, I mean, this is just a little roadblock for him to have a program after between the winner of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
Right. You got a point there. Top of that, the Usos, tag team champions, the SmackDown tag team champions. This match is also shit. Taking on Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Can I just be honest with you?
Yeah, go ahead. Shoot.
I am not excited for any of the matches here. I mean, I want to see
Nobody
Bianca.
is.
Yeah, I want to see Bianca and Becky. This is just the matches they have announced. This is not shaping up to be a good WrestleMania. And I haven't even gotten finished night 1 yet. Which means
let me tell you, I think WrestleMania is cursed in Dallas. Because I went to Dallas one a few years ago with Triple H versus Roman Reigns. That WrestleMania was not good either. So I think with them trying to do a WrestleMania at one of the biggest stadiums in probably the United States, it's just cursed. It's really cursed. You would think in a big building that holds over 100,000 fans, you would have a good card put out there. But WrestleMania 3, the whole card wasn't good either. So I'll give him some slack.
Yeah, but that was also like the height of. That was like one of the biggest eras for WWE. 1987, WWF was like one of the best years at that time period. They had an amazing roster. The matches might not have been put together very well, but the roster was simply amazing. If you looked at that show,
it was.
And that's not even everybody that wrestled there in 1987 either. There's guys that were left off the show.
Yeah, look now. Now everybody on the show now. Everybody in cater.
The only way they
nothing wrong with cater.
It's well, they're collecting the paycheck still. What's the matter?
There we go. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Guaranteed money.
It's obvious that the Usos are gonna walk away with the champs, and I just don't get this match. And of course the WWE's. Wait, hang on a second. Oh yeah, the SmackDown tag team or SmackDown women's match, title match. Excuse me. Charlotte taking on Ronda Rousey. Why are both women's world title matches on the same night? They usually should split them up. That's just my opinion.
You're correct, my kind sir. 2 of them should be split up. But I don't write the cards.
Right. Ronda Rousey, I think, is going to. Ronda Rousey will take this, I think. Personal opinion. To get her win back. No, wait. Did she?
Wait, before you say that, though, what do you think about this program as a whole? Because I have listened to a lot of podcasts and a lot of shows that have said that this whole program is the ish.
I mean, it's nothing great. It's just there, I guess. Ronda Rousey as a babyface is like a little weird. Her trying to pretend to be a babyface, like she loves the fans. We know that it's fake because I've heard reports of her being told that she's got to act a certain way. So it's just ever since reading that, it's kind of a little bit more like to be taken seriously. It's a little bit harder to be taken seriously, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I think Charlotte's great. I do like Ronda. I mean, and she's not terrible, but I don't know. I don't really like.
So going into the match, do you think Ronda going to get booed in Dallas?
It's a very good chance. Yeah, I mean,
she got booed at Survivor Series against Charlotte.
That's true.
That's what started it. So
yeah, I mean, it's very possible. I mean,
it's going to be a good match because
it's going to be a good match. Who's gonna who are the crowds gonna care about? Really?
Probably Charlotte for a cup of coffee.
Yeah. All right, so let's take
night 1. You forgot Kevin Owens, the KO show.
Oh, that's right. It's not listed.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is rumored to be the main event.
I find that incredibly insane if they're looking to put that as the closer of the show.
Me too.
Insane.
The way night 1 is structured, though.
Yeah.
The way a night one is structured, I think it's going to be another match. Truthfully.
Okay. Well, I believe that we have one more Raw before, another SmackDown before. Actually, 2 SmackDowns before. Excuse me, and 1 Raw. So I think that we'll definitely hear something. You know, something will be added to night 1.
Absolutely.
In that time period. So night 2, Queen Zelina and Carmella. This is a 4-way for the women's tag team champions, by the way.
Yeah.
Championships against Sasha Banks and Naomi, Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, and Natalya, Shayna Baszler. Like you said earlier, that Natalya and Shayna Baszler being put together is a bit of an odd pairing.
It is. It was just put together last minute. All the teams was put together last minute. You know what? Not them. Not only that. All 4 of the teams was put together last minute.
Right. They're all oddball teams.
Like Naomi had a whole good program with who was it? I forgot. Sonya Deville.
Mhm.
And you could have kept that off at WrestleMania. You could have put Sasha probably with Charlotte and Ronda. You could have did that. It's just like Rhea Ripley. I feel bad for her. You could have had Sasha versus Rhea Ripley. I would have did that. I would have did that as an promotional match.
That would have been a good match. I think, Rhea's really like on fire now, I think.
Yeah, you still got Asuka and Alexa Bliss on reserve. Like all
But what
these,
about
like,
Bailey? Bailey hasn't returned yet either.
Bailey's on reserve. She cleared too. So it's like all this stuff that is just like, I forgot they don't got no more.
They usually save some returns for like the Raw or SmackDown after. So
yes, they do.
Any of those talents that you just mentioned, especially Asuka's been cleared for a while now, and she hasn't shown up yet.
Oh, I'm gonna pause this for a special announcement.
Sure.
By the way, while we talk about our premium live event, last night, Beer is coming.
April 4th.
April 4th.
Yes. Which is this Monday Night Raw. Yeah.
Yes.
They finally set a date for Veer to arrive.
Finally, he's coming.
Yes. After what? 3 months of 3 months of vignettes. All right. So this is the match that I'm not interested in either. Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn in a anything goes match. Wasn't this initially supposed to be for the Intercontinental title?
It was
initially,
won it, but I like Ricochet winning it. So I'm glad this match is not for the Intercontinental Championship because that would be a disgrace to the championship on WrestleMania.
Yeah, and Ricochet doesn't even have a match yet. But that's not the first time that the Intercontinental title wouldn't have been defended, especially in recent years.
Yeah. It's not the first. It's showing the last.
I'm guessing Johnny Knoxville is going to win this. So, now did you see on Instagram Johnny Knoxville posted Sami Zayn's number and one of those airplane ticker things?
Did he?
Yeah. And so people have been calling it and texting it, and I guess if you're lucky, Sami Zayn will answer the damn FaceTime.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Did you call
I've known I've seen somebody posting them online. I think that's pretty hilarious.
You should have called.
Nah, I'm good. I don't. I'm good. But I know I just saw people were posting it. Obviously, it's probably like an extra number, like a burner account or whatever.
Probably.
He just has an extra phone just for the gimmick to go along with this. So.
I feel like you should have called him and told him about the PWC podcast.
You know what? Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. See what happens. Try to get his ass on here. Like, come on. I'll record it too, just for the podcast and post. Obviously, Pat McAfee is taking on Austin Theory. Austin Theory seems to be the guy in a way for Vince right now. They keep putting him in stuff like this. He loses quite a bit as well. Like he damn near got murdered by Brock.
Mm-hmm.
He lost last night to Finn. So I'm guessing Pat McAfee's going to find some sort of sneaky way to win against Austin Theory.
I mean, going into this, I would say this is the debut of Austin Theory, WrestleMania debut of Austin Theory, but it's really not. He actually made a debut at the pandemic WrestleMania.
They don't recognize
in a random tag match. I'm gonna put him on blast because it should have been this one. So now,
and I've been saying that all along. He was involved with was it Angel Garza when he was
Angel Garza, yeah,
Andrade, right? Like that little group that they had.
Yep, against the Street Profits. Yep.
Yeah, and then he came in and they acted like he was never on the main roster before.
So I would say coming into this is a big deal for Austin Theory. It was a big deal for him then, but now this is a really big deal. He got a singles match program throughout all the road trips, Evolve, all that. Now he's here. He's Pat McAfee and a singles match that may evolve Mr. McMahon. It may. I don't
It
know.
may.
It may. He may do a cameo.
That's a good point. He hasn't made the cameo in quite some time. Triple threat tag team match for the Raw Tag Team Championship. RK Bro, who are the champions against the Street Profits and Alpha Academy.
This is gonna be a show stealer.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I like all three teams. As annoying as RK Bro can be, it's mostly Matt Riddle, but as annoying as they can be, they're a good team. I don't particularly care for the Street Profits, even though I do recognize that it's the gimmick is what it is. Them or the characters, I should say, but them as wrestlers, I think they're very good wrestlers.
Chad Gable and Otis has really stepped up. I like them.
Yep. I knew Otis really proved that he was able, I guess, what was it, in Heavy Machinery, and then when he started doing a lot of single stuff, that he was very able to. He got the crowd behind him, and I think
he was able to stay with the Gable.
But Chad Gable's a phenomenal worker, and as it is, that guy's great.
He's really good.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he, as they've been releasing tons and tons of guys, I'm glad that he's actually stuck with him even through the Shorty G gimmick and all that stuff. Let that pass.
Listen, once I see him do the Snickers commercial, I know he made it.
That's when they keep you, because you're still,
That's when they keep you. Yeah,
they're going to be running those on their programming for God knows how long. So
that's why I know you made it.
Edge and AJ Styles. Obviously, AJ Styles returned this past Monday. I'm not fully invested in Edge at this day and age. While this might be a decent match, and I'm predicting AJ to go over. I don't predict it to be like a match of the night or anything like that.
Me either, but I'm hoping AJ take the W. His WrestleMania record is kind of like in between, so I hope he takes this one. Yes, Edge, who has a great record at WrestleMania. Yes. He almost was undefeated until he faced he had the ladder match at WrestleMania 23. He was running on an Undertaker streak, but it's just gonna be a real good match. First time ever for these two. Everybody been anticipating this match, so hopefully it'll be real good. Hopefully it won't end up being Randy Orton and AJ Styles WrestleMania a few years ago, which I thought was gonna be real good. It wasn't good. So.
It's 35, right?
No disrespect to the workers. Yeah, it was 35.
I was there for that. I just remember it not being fantastic. But
yeah. I remember that and the light being in my eye because I sat on that side.
Well, that show was just, the lighting was really horrific. A lot of people were complaining they couldn't see stuff at all during the day.
That's true.
The way that stuff was set up. So.
Yeah, they had spotlights spotting on everybody's eyes instead of having it up in the air. So, yeah.
That's crazy. Of course, the main event for night 2, the main event of WrestleMania this year. Champion versus champion, Brock versus Roman. This is a tough call. Because me and you have discussed these two at length over the last year or whatever, how long we've been doing this together.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person that we see taking out Roman would be Brock. But obviously Brock has, 2 losses to him? Or is it 1 loss to him?
I think it's 2 losses.
It's 2 losses to him. So my guess would be this is their 3rd time that typically Brock would maybe win. Typically.
You would think that, yeah, it's on paper. Go ahead.
I mean, typically, historically, in the history of professional wrestling, you would think something like that would happen. I'm not 100% invested in believing that that's something that's going to happen. So they're going to, and they're unifying the titles. So it's not just going to end Roman winning him. Is it just become the Universal title altogether? Or does that part not play into it? Whoever wins, that's the title.
they never announced it as being a unification match, just winner takes all. Like same thing as Becky Lynch a few years ago.
My notes here, and this is from online, that it says winner takes all to unify the WWE Championship and Universal Championship.
Oh, does it? Oh,
Yep.
I stand corrected. Does it? Oh, I'm lost.
It's cool.
I'm lost. You know what? Listen. This is this is third rematch between these two for WrestleMania in WrestleMania history. So this is the third match. Obviously, we know WrestleMania 31, they had it, and WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. So we're looking at a third matchup between these two in WrestleMania history. They had the matches before. But I think Roman Reigns should continue this reign. He has one of the longest reigns in all of WWE history. He's hot right now. He can't be stopped. Brock has done enough. Like he's happy right now. He's been on TV more times than I could count since signing with WWE a few years ago.
I think you're right. That's right. Yep.
Listen, so Roman Reigns is hot right now, so I don't see Brock beat him. I kind of feel like Roman's going to continue this reign, this historic reign.
I think you're right. I mean, I really want to. I would love to see Brock go over, but I honestly think that it's going to be Roman. I mean, I could honestly, in my personality, I can go either way and see whoever's going to win. It's like, I just know that I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a great match. That's it.
Nah, absolutely. It's going to be a short match, but a great match.
Do you think it's going to be short? I mean, Brock doesn't have really long matches.
7 minutes.
What?
7.
How do you figure that?
Listen, what's this, night 2? Okay.
Yes.
I'm just going to tell you. If AJ and Edge go 30 minutes, that means the main event is going 7.
But all of Roman's matches go on for half hour.
Yeah, that's if he's working somebody else, but he's working Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar don't work. Brock Lesnar don't get paid by the hour. He don't get paid by the hour.
You got a point. You do have a point there. Okay.
Their past WrestleMania matches was not long either.
Okay. I believe you then. I'll take your word for it.
I mean, we could always make a bet. FanDuel.
I'm not doing that. I don't bet. I don't gamble.
We can bet how long it's going to go.
Especially on professional wrestling, I don't bet.
Listen, 8. I'll give us like 8 minutes. 8 minutes.
I believe it. All right, so that is our WWE wrap-up show. This is our WrestleMania prediction show. We will definitely somewhat.
It's a review of wrestling whatever show right now.
There will be more to come. Definitely next week we'll be talking about more. Whatever else is announced for, like, say, night 1, because it looks like, honestly, night 2 is. I mean, there's 6 bouts listed here. That's 1 more than night 1. So I mean, but I'm sure there's going to be a couple more announced between now and next week.
Absolutely.
So we'll definitely be updating anybody that's listening for that. So I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening to us babble about professional wrestling, because that's my favorite thing to do. So
absolutely.
Besides watching professional wrestling, of course. And don't forget, make sure you just follow us on all your socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff, and say hello. And Marcel, why don't you tell them where they can find you?
I don't be on social media like that anyway. Been busy. But you can follow me on Showtime at Showtime Marcel, on Instagram at Showtime Marcel, on Twitter, and on Facebook with Marcel Williams. Shoot me a message. Say hey. Want me answering questions about wrestling. Maybe about life. I got you.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Be well, be safe, people.